high. You spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive. It's like my soul thrives in your life.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. You are tuned into Ramadan Caravan with me, Ibrahim. And today we have a very important lady, the first female guest on this Ramadan series. We've not been too fair to the women. We've entered the last 10 days, and this is our first female guest. She's an educationist and an author, and then she goes by the name Kabirite Ahmed Salis. But let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we delve into the discussion, Women in Ramadan. Stick and stay with us.
But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, 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 ya Habib. Ramadan, Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. Love is everywhere, so much peace fills up the air. Ramadan, month of the Quran.
You're welcome back. You're still tuned into Ramadan Caravan, and today we have Kabirite Ahmed Salis, an author and educationist. Ajia, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for making time.
Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah.
Ajia, you are a career woman, a wife, and a mother.
Yeah.
Yes. How does Ramadan feel generally for women?
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammad. We thank the Almighty Allah for this opportunity. Yes, with regards to your question on how Ramadan feels as a Muslim woman and a career woman and as a wife,
yes,
and as a mother, yes.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Firstly, I will take it from the point of view of a Muslimah. As we all know, the Quran said that أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Yeah, it says, "O you who believe," meaning it is not pointing out specifically to the men, it's saying to the believers in general. So if it is, communicating to the believers in general, we women as well who also testify that Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, fasting is prescribed on us as well as the other men. So as much as possible, it is important for us to see fasting as a form of, how it is supposed to be seen. Because fasting is part of the pillars of Islam, and it's part of the foundations, the pillars, the cores of Islam. And as much as possible, I believe that it shouldn't be compromised, irrespective of the situation you find yourself in.
But then, is there anything unique? Do women cook some more than they would normally do? Do women have to stay away from the usual makeup less than they usually do? How does life change entirely for a woman?
Okay, I actually remember when I was in Nigeria with my auntie,
yes,
and I was very young by then. But the unique thing about the month of Ramadan in the house is that she packs all dishes, all utensils that we've been using before Ramadan. She packs all aside. She brings in new set of utensils. You have variety of food on the table and all these. But I really can't recall the ibadah aspect of the month of Ramadan, and that is something that is very critical.
Where ibadah means worship.
Worship. It's also, it could be your cooking as a Muslim woman could be a form of worship, all right. But saying that you are going to dedicate all your time to the cooking, that is the problem. That's where the problem lies. So the issue of time management comes in, where you are supposed to sit down, apportion your time that, okay, this is what I'll be doing at this point in time, this is what I'll do at this point in time, such that the month of Ramadan will not end and all you have just, done is to have cooked. You might be doing the cooking for the sake of Allah, but there are other things that will draw you nearer to Allah. And the month of Ramadan is the month of the Quran. And as much as possible, our righteous predecessors, they were very much engrossed in Quran recitation and, in fact, contemplation on the meaning of the Quran in order to be able to, understand Islam better and get nearer to Allah.
Many people think Islam is filled with so much testosterone. It's a male-dominated religion. Can you walk us through the contribution of women to this great religion so people can appreciate that in terms of female empowerment and accusations of, relegating women to the background? All of these misconceptions about the faith.
In fact, during the time of Islam, during the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we're told of women who could even join the battle, join to go and fight. We're told of women who were available to treat the people who were injured in the course of the battle. But most importantly, we are told of 4 women who are said to have perfected their faith. And they had very beautiful personalities, very beautiful characters that made them up. And as much as possible, I believe that women of today should also bear that. We have Nana Maryam, who is Mary, the mother of
Please take us
Jesus.
through the unique things.
Okay.
Maryam, number 1.
The beautiful thing about Maryam,
Mary, the
mother of Jesus, that we are told is that, remember when Prophet Zachariah had to pray, people were humiliating him that he didn't have a child and all these. But there were times he entered where Maryam used to do her worship, because she loved worship a lot.
Wow.
She loved to worship Allah a lot. And in the history of Mary, she had to even leave her family to go and stay somewhere with Prophet Zachariah in a sort of like a worship place with Prophet Zachariah in order to be able to gain more knowledge and all that. It was so beautiful, even though it was a very trying time where some of the people around didn't want her to be there and all that. But then she was there, and she prayed to Allah and built and in fact established a relationship with Allah such that even fruits that were out of season were supplied to her. Prophet Zachariah came in and saw it. They were like, this is not meant for this man. This fruit doesn't come in this man. How do you have it? Then she's like, it's a provision from Allah. So it tells us the beauty of faith, the relationship she established with her Creator.
So number 1, still on Mary.
Yeah.
A woman should be unwavering in her iman and faith and attachment to Allah.
And the perfect example is that of Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh. She was also stated to have been part of the 4 women who have perfected their faith in Islam. And that is the wife of Pharaoh, right? And you know how Pharaoh, we all know the story of Pharaoh, how he ended and everything. But this woman was very firm in terms of her worship, in terms of her sincerity to her Creator. And Allah was also like, Allah rewarded her for that. You understand? And she was also appreciated, at least for the beauty of her faith, that she was married to, excuse me to say, in fact, you know the word to describe Pharaoh, how cruel he was, even though he had his good part, like he being very dutiful to his mom and all that. But then he was very cruel. He said he was God and all that. But then this woman of substance, this very beautiful woman with a very strong iman, was married to such a man. And yet she could keep her faith in touch. You see, so as much as possible, if your husband prays 5 times a day, if he prays 5 times a day, fast in the month of Ramadan, irrespective of the challenges you may be facing in the marriage, it is for you to have very strong faith and confidence in Allah. This is an opportunity for you to pray for him. Whatever transformation you hope to see in his life, it is an opportunity for you to seek the help of Allah for that transformation to materialize in his life. So this is what I can learn from the story of Asiya. And aside Asiya, we have Fatima. How Fatima was supportive.
daughter of the
the
Prophet.
daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how she was supportive to the father, how she supported Islam and all that. Yes, and she was also strong in terms of her faith, how she was generous, feeding the poor and all that. And that is very commendable. And I believe as much as possible, we should be able to, learn from some of these very beautiful
And do you
characters of
remember the
Islam.
last woman, the last of the four? Okay, but tell you remember.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
ask you two questions. One on Fatima radiallahu anha and her role as a daughter. In our contemporary times, Hajia, you can find an adult lady do manicure and pedicure while her mother is out in the compound washing. So what kind of advice can you give? You know, some don't even cook. Their mothers have to cook for them to eat. They don't do any house chores. They sit somewhere adorning and beautifying themselves while their mothers dirty themselves to keep up their home.
Okay, as much as possible, I'll answer it in the point of view of, from the perspective of Ramadan. Okay. I believe every Muslim should pick Ramadan as a transformation period, as a period where, you want to get away, you want to throw away some very bad habits of yours that you may be engaged in and develop new habits. A month where you seek any opportunity you grab, you want to do something that will be pleasing to Allah. Okay. So for you to leave your mom in the kitchen to be doing the cooking for you, and be concerned about beautifying yourself. It's not bad for you to beautify yourself, for you to do the pedicure and manicure. Once you are not painting with anything that water cannot pass through, water cannot pass through. If you are painting with something that water can pass through, it's permissible.
So if it is permeable to water, but if it is impervious to water,
that is when you stay away from. So if you are doing manicure, that is okay. Common manicure. If you are just, trimming your nails, washing. If it is pedicure, you are letting them do it, or you are doing it yourself. It's something to keep yourself beautiful, to preserve what Allah has given you, which there's no problem with that. But it's about timing. Your mom is busy in the kitchen. She is struggling to put food together, prepare the fruit for iftar, prepare juice and all this for iftar, and you are concerned about beautifying yourself. Meaning you are keeping your mommy to be very stressed, upset that she may not be able to join Tarawih. But yourself, will you even go and do the Tarawih? That is the question. So it's important for us to get involved, even the men, as much as possible. This is the month of Ramadan. We are seeking all means and ways to get closer to Allah. It's not so recommended that you stay and you just be, you have nothing to do. We are supposed to encourage each other in good. First, khairat. We are supposed to encourage each other and be supportive to each other in goodness, you see. And you, the man, you are very much aware that it is your responsibility. In fact, it is everybody's responsibility that we have to pull everybody along in our family such that nobody is entering the hellfire. So the woman spending her time in the kitchen cooking, it will get her so exhausted that she may not be able to join the Tarawih, and she may not be able to wake up for Tahajjud, because even Tahajjud time she's supposed to be preparing sahur again for the family. So as much as possible. But then if that is the situation you find yourself in, it is very important for you to be able to get yourself out of that and also make the best out of that. So that is about planning. So for you, the woman, if you see it as your responsibility to do the cooking in the house, how do you manage your time such that I will do the cooking, but then I'll still have time for my Tarawih? I'll do the cooking, but then I'll still do my Tahajjud. It depends on you. We have fridge now, we have refrigerator now. You may decide that, okay, on weekends I really have time. I know I go to work, all right, but on weekends I really have time, so I'll cook in bulk, keep them in the fridge. So if it's a stew, you keep them in the fridge, or the soup, you keep them in the fridge, such that in the evening you just do the, you take it from the fridge to defrost, then you just warm it for the family. It will still be as special as, you expect it to be. So you won't dedicate all your time to the cooking. And even as someone who is bent on gaining the pleasure of Allah or maximizing blessings in the month of Ramadan, it is not haram for you to enter your kitchen with, your Bluetooth player or maybe a laptop to play Quran recitation. We even have some Quran recitation that comes with translation, such that while listening to the recitation, you can listen to the meaning and understand and appreciate the meaning of the verses of Allah. If you don't also want the Quran recitation and you prefer to listen to a lecture, it's also fine. You can just listen to a lecture, and ensure that when you are doing the cooking, do the cooking for the sake of Allah, because even in the cooking there is reward. Once you do the cooking for the sake of Allah, I mean, you'll be rewarded for it. The people who eat the food, they will be very happy. And yourself, you earn the pleasure of Allah, because you did it solely for the sake of Allah. Not necessarily for the people to say that, oh, this food was very nice, mommy, as usual. But then you are doing it for the sake of Allah, to earn nothing but the pleasure of Allah.
Then how does a woman strike a balance between prolonged, standing in prayer, then family issues? Maybe you have a 2-year-old, you have to go to the office, a lot of cooking in case you find yourself in a family house. How do we try our best as men to support women so that they are not too exhausted, even though this month should be replete with religious and spiritual activities?
Yeah, to answer this, I would say planning. Okay, and planning. Once we are in a family together, everybody should have a role to play. Who is going to buy the fruits? Let's not just, I mean, the usual thing that happens in Azungo is that the man just leaves the money on the table, tells you it is this food I want to eat tonight. And even sometimes the person may be working in town, and then somewhere around, say 4:30 or 5, then the person just calls you to tell you, no, today I'll prefer fufu instead of what I requested for. Then you are, I mean, what do? You are not going to shop for the fufu
and
if you don't have
recipe.
Exactly.
Entirely.
You see, so as much as possible, I believe there should be planning. In some houses, we have, I mean, a menu such that what is cooked on this day, everybody in the family will understand that on this day, and we'll all take the decision together on the table, and it makes everybody's, I mean, it's so beautiful. Because
so in a family, the axiom or precept that he who pays the piper calls the tune shouldn't
it shouldn't
fathers shouldn't, husbands shouldn't determine what the family
you can
eats.
Negotiate that this okay, in fact, I know it is TZ and IU on the menu today, but then I would appreciate it if we can change it to something like this. Or you can just speak to your wife so that she does something like this for you, if the family wants this.
It should not be authoritative
or
dictatorial. It should be suggestive.
Exactly. That is the best, because, you know, I am speaking from the point of view of, I mean, child upbringing. Because it makes the children, when we talk about, for instance, how to discipline your child without punishing your child. I'm taking this to another point of view.
That's fine, it's a good point.
So if we talk about things like that, the child has, you will have to let the child know what is wrong, what is right and what is wrong. Because the child is naive, the child doesn't seem to know anything, but it is your orientation. And usually in making rules for children, it is important that you get them involved in making the rule. If a child hates another child, maybe the child doesn't know that his colleagues feels this pain that the person has done. You have to let the person understand the pain, how it feels like, not necessarily by beating the person. But if children or people are involved in decision making or in certain rules, it's quite difficult for them to break it, because it's a consultative, I mean, something.
So we should consult you, we shouldn't dictate.
It's important, yes.
I see. Hajia, I'll take the discussion further. When we talk women in the month of Ramadan, we are looking at Muslim young ladies that are spinsters. They are not married yet. And those of you who are married. Let's tackle those who are not married yet. Social media has come up with so many terminologies. Now I hear of Salah Bell. We are just a week or so shy of Eid. So what do you make about what do you make of the debates, the social media debates surrounding Salah Bell?
What I can say is that, in fact,
and what does it entail? Frankly speaking, we don't know what Salah Bell is.
Okay, I wouldn't want to say much about it because I don't really know much about it. I've seen it trending on social media somewhere, and this jingle lace and all these is things that it comes up and it just goes like that. I've seen them around. But then, as much as possible, I believe Ramadan is beyond that. Ramadan is beyond that. There's a need for us to see the essence of the month. We are told that the righteous predecessors, they had to pray after Ramadan, they pray for a number of months to Allah to seek His acceptance of the month of Ramadan. That the service, the worship that they did in the month of Ramadan, they are praying to Allah that Allah should accept their service. Because you are doing it, or you may be reciting the Quran. You may be, you may be waking up for the tahajjud, everything. But there are no guarantees. Whether you are doing it with ikhlas, you are doing it for the sake of Allah, is also another point.
So there are no guarantees.
Do you get it?
Okay.
And if such people who understood Islam better, in fact, understands Islam better than us, were praying to Allah, seeking the help of Allah that He should accept their worship in the month of Ramadan, then what should we also be doing? And they didn't even end there. I don't know the duration. It's either for 5 months they pray for the acceptance of the month of Ramadan, and for the subsequent 6 months they pray to reach the next Ramadan.
So it's too important to be playing around.
Exactly. So we should just be very cautious, and in fact we should be goal oriented, because I mean, as much as possible, we don't know when we will take our last breath.
No, so do you mean, look, for us young men, those who are not married, it is quite customary to be asked by someone you are not yet married to, okay, we are entering Ramadan, how will you cope with the dawn meals? Or we are entering Ramadan, how would you cope with iftar? So you find young ladies, usually in universities, cook in bulk.
Wow.
For their fiancés or BFs, boyfriends. And then they would also want to be paid back. When service. You are getting to the Eid, you would buy her a nice abaya, you would buy. So I would want you to tackle those two issues. I know you are not a jurist.
Yes,
you are not a faqihah.
Yeah.
But I would want you to play around those two.
You know, actually, the issue is that we are looking at people who are in a relationship. Is that the point of view we are taking it from? Yes. If you are not in a relationship with someone or with a guy, and you decide that, okay, it's the month of Ramadan, I know how difficult it is. In fact, there are some guys who are not even able to make Indomie. So as a Muslim on campus, I'm just doing voluntary service. I'll prepare food in bulk.
Frankly, as a bachelor, I don't know whether I should be doing this. Since the beginning of Ramadan, when I wake up at dawn, I only drink water, then I go back to sleep. Yes. So it's quite a challenge.
If that is the problem, if that is the problem, and you, a Muslim on campus, you decide that, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm doing this fi sabilillah for the sake of Allah and nothing else. So you decide to cook. You can decide that, okay, it is this particular guy I'm cooking for, or these two people. Ensure that between you and Allah, you are doing it for the sake of Allah. That is the most important thing.
With no strings attached.
Exactly. If you can do that, perfect.
What if it's amorous? There are love undertones.
Oh, may Allah make things easy for us. You know, issues of love, affection, and all this is something that we can do virtually nothing about. I mean, one of the wives of the Prophet, she actually proposed to the Prophet that she was interested in them. So it's not a crime to have affection for someone, but ensure, if even you know you have affection for this person, purify your intention. Ensure that what you are doing, this cooking you are doing it for the sake of Allah. For me, that is very.
Some of us, we rejected the offer and we are taking water at dawn.
Subhanallah.
Yes.
May Allah make things easy for us. Yeah, so it's rewarding. But for you to say that I'm in a relationship with this guy, we are not. Islam doesn't encourage your relationship with the guy. If the guy came to you and he proposed to you, or you went to the guy, you proposed to the guy, whichever way, and you decide that, okay, you are okay with each other, tell the guy to go and see your family. Something official starts. They've gone to do knocking. Like something is in the pipeline. Families understand that, okay, someone like this is interested in this daughter of mine. But for you, a Muslimah, to wake up and say that, okay, this guy proposed to me, he's my boyfriend, so because of that, I'll be cooking sahur and iftar for him. After the month of Ramadan, you go and ask him for...
okay, we are announcing the phone lines. You may join the conversation now by calling the phone line. That will shortly pop up on your screen. Ajia, we are contending with a very serious fitna. Do you know, even after breaking the fast, there are women and young men who would want to meet
Subhanallah.
While they are not married. How serious is that?
You know, there's, even though this hadith is said to be doif, the hadith on, the shayateens are changed in the month of Ramadan, and the door of the heavens are also opened in the month of Ramadan. So I mean, who is pushing you to go and do that act? You fasted since morning. You see, knowledge is very important. And for people who say that the Quran is in Arabic, so because of that, I mean, they don't understand the Arabic language, they don't appreciate it. It's very important. There should be a turning point. In Ramadan, once you have witnessed the month of Ramadan,
okay, sorry, there's a caller. Sorry, I'll be cutting in intermittently. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello, your name and where you calling us from?
Assalamu alaikum.
I can hardly hear you. Can you speak up a bit? Hello? Oh, sorry, we lost you. You can try again.
Yeah, so like I was saying, there should be a turning point in your life. And as much as possible, I believe once you have been favored to witness the month of Ramadan, then the month of Ramadan should be a turning point in your life, where you can pray to Allah for transformation. Because the life of this world, is said that if you dip this finger into the sea and bring it out, what you find dropping back into the sea is the life of this world as compared to the hereafter.
So there are many more years
ahead.
In the hereafter.
Yeah. So, and if you are on this earth and you are 20 years, you are 10 years, you are 5 years, you are not guaranteed of the next 10 years, even the next minute, even the end of this program that we are talking about.
Okay. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Lower the volume on your set. Oh, sorry, we lost you. A little counsel to those who call. You can actually lower the volume on your set before you dial. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
My name is Daham.
Okay. Okay. Calling us from where?
I'm calling from Kapni.
From where?
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I went into just a few minutes ago. I want to talk about the boyfriend-girlfriend thing.
Okay, please do.
Yeah, in Islam, dating, the way we date, not even having
sorry, your line is very bad. Kindly drop it and call again. We'll get you on a better line. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, so like I was saying, we don't know when we will take our last breath. So for you to be alive today, you have to really thank Allah and appreciate that favor. There are people who, I mean, we fasted with them. Even there are some very big scholars that we fasted with them last year, that this year they are no longer with us. What do we say about that? We don't know how long we'll live. Nobody knows it. Okay. Nobody knows it. So
hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. This is Sule calling you from Tamale.
Okay, welcome, Suleiman.
Thank you. What I have to say is that I have to add to what Hajjai said. I pray to Allah for her to encourage our young ladies on campus or outside campus. They should follow the footsteps of Hajjia. We talk a lot, or we see Muslims, young ladies, walking around in the way they behave, it doesn't add up or it doesn't match to Islam. So we preach or we suggest that Hajjia and encourage to cope up and talk to our young ladies so that they'll follow the right path of our Islam.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate your call. Thank you so much, brother. Hajjia.
May Allah make things easy for us. Thank you very much for that. Yes, so as much as possible, it is for us to, take advantage of the time we have today and establish that relationship with our Creator. And our Creator categorically said in the Quran that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah created mankind and jinn for no purpose than to serve Him. So as much as possible, the concept of service in Islam, have you understood it? That is what we should ask ourselves.
Sorry, there's another caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum. And please lower the volume on your set.
Hello.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome, but lower the volume on your set.
Okay,
welcome to the show. Your name and where you calling us from?
Yes, I'm Sadi from Techiman.
From Techiman, welcome.
Yeah, my question is it good for a non-Muslim lady to cook for you during the fasting?
And on what basis is she cooking for you? Is she a food vendor?
Well, let's say maybe you are staying in the same house with the person. But maybe in the house, there's no image Muslim lady there. Maybe you are and you're a bachelor.
No.
It's good for a lady who is not a Muslim to cook for you.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. Thank you, Haji. I will tackle the question. Yes.
If it were shake, I know shake will not handle it. Yeah. As much as what I can say about this particular question, whether it's good for a Christian lady to cook for you, and the brother only established the fact that there is no Muslim lady around and they live, assuming, on the same compound. If deep within you, you know there is nothing between you and this Christian lady. Once we are told that their food is halal to us, once it's not pagan, this. If you know there is nothing between you and this lady, and you have to check your interaction with the lady.
Okay.
Does she enter your room?
Okay. Sorry. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, so you have to check your interaction with this lady. If you know there are issues of doubt even in your heart as to the relationship between you and the lady, if it is a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, she can't cook for you.
Okay.
If you have a relationship with her and it's on that basis that you give her the money for her to do the cooking, and besides, I think if you have the gadgets for, it's a problem, as my big brother Irbad mentioned. It's a problem that most of the bachelors have a hard time in the month of Ramadan.
Yeah,
he says he just drinks water.
I'm not advertising my bachelor resume anyway. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling us from, bro?
I'm called from Doma. My name is Jacob.
Okay, thank you, from the BA. Okay, welcome, Jacob.
The simple matter is, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
The simple matter is, the boyfriend and girlfriend, in fact, it's not good.
Okay.
It's not good to prepare to your boyfriend.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Please, all Muslims must understand to know.
Okay.
It's simple thing. If you are not in marriage, you are not married, so you forget about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hajia, you say the fitna, the temptation in our time.
The verse is the inna kaidi kunna azim.
In the kaida kunna azim, about the temptation Joseph went through. It's quite a challenge.
Yeah. So, and as much as possible, you see the verse in the Quran that spoke about zina.
Sorry, let's lump that up with this. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your name and where you calling us from? Yeah.
My name is Zach. I'm calling from Kofulia.
Okay, Kof Town in the eastern region. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I hear mention of one of the prophet's wives who proposed to the prophet.
Okay.
I would like to know the name of the wife of the prophet.
No, there is a verse in the Quran that said, وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ مُؤْمِنَةٌ وَهَبَتْ نَفْسَهَا لِلنَّبِيِّ. Any woman that comes and proposes marriage to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, and the Prophet sallallahu could as well take her. So Haja is saying, by extension, even though in our culture, this part of the world, it is considered taboo for a woman to propose marriage to a man, Islam doesn't frown on that.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you so much for your call. I hope I bailed you.
Yeah,
or you have something
it's
else
okay,
to say. Okay, furtherly, Ajia.
Yeah, so as much as possible, I believe that we shouldn't joke with our time at all. Even if you buy scratch card, it has its manual on it. It tells you that you should scratch here, enter this pin, and enter this the digits that pop up, and put your ash there. It tells you that even something that you just need that day to throw away, it has its own manual. And Allah has favored us with the Quran. And in this age of technology, if you tell yourself you don't know what Islam says, or you don't know anything about Islam, then you are really deceiving yourself. You haven't made any step to know anything about Islam. That is why you don't know anything about Islam. So I believe as much as possible that it is important for you to know Allah.
Aja, sorry about that. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Please lower the volume on your set. Welcome to the show. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yes, if you know Allah, you will be able to serve Him better. And the easiest way to know Allah is by reading what he is telling us, and He speaks to us through the verses of the Quran.
Sure.
So we have very authentic translations. You can learn the Arabic version, all right, but we have authentic translation that you can read on daily basis. If you find anything you have to ask someone about, there are scholars around, reliable scholars. Of course, you can visit them. And now, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of Muslims also doing dawah. So you can also contact them and ask them, what is the meaning of this?
Okay,
I saw.
Sorry, Haja. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum. My lady, lower the volume on your set and we can still hear you. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show. Lower the volume on your set if you don't mind. Oh, sorry. And that was a female caller.
Yeah.
I thought she would get the chance to interact with a female
she'll
guest.
try again.
Okay, she can try again. Yeah. No.
Yes, so as much as possible, it is important for us to know Allah, to be able to worship Him in the best manner. But taking advantage of the life of this world and just doing things and saying it's age and all that, I mean, we are not assured of tomorrow. We are not even assured of the next minute. So it's important for us to take advantage of, the time available at our disposal. And if we have time for other things, and we have time to prepare towards, Salah, Eid fanfare and all that, why shouldn't we give the time to the person who gave, to the Astaghfirullah, to the Creator, to our Creator, who availed us the time and the strength? Why can't we just give everything to Him, dedicate our entire being and our entire self to Him, such that we can worship Him and earn His pleasure?
I'll ask you pinpointed questions. My last question on spinsters.
Okay.
There's a caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling us from, brother? Okay, speak up and lower the volume on your set, yeah. Yeah, but speak up a bit. Please do.
Hello?
Yeah, please do, and speak up.
I have a question to ask. Somebody will be having a problem that is stomach, ulcer, and other things. Now, to this level, about you come about the Muslim or Muslim.
Did you hear the
Yeah,
question?
stomach
Okay.
ulcer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, if there are any complications like chronic illnesses like ulcer and others, and you can't fast, you can feed the poor for each day of the month of Ramadan. Haja, I have this question to ask you. The issue of competition a day or two before Eid. And should a woman or a lady, a young lady, force herself to buy an expensive costume or clothes she can't afford? But let's take this caller.
Okay.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling from?
Walaikum salam. I'm Abu Bakari from Wa.
Okay, welcome Abu Bakar.
Thank you very much. Yeah, can I receive a gift from my friend? I'm a boy and he's a boy. Can I receive some gift from him during this month of Ramadan?
Oh, mashallah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But he's not a Muslim.
It doesn't matter. He's a human being. And the Holy Prophet or scholars say, tahaddaw tahabbu, give gifts or presents to each other, you will love each other. So Islam encourages neighborliness. It encourages interfaith coexistence. So you can take whatever, for as long as the source is halal and he's doing it with a good intention.
A second content, please.
Okay, please do.
Yeah, like, you know, when you are supposed to get up and fast, maybe before 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So let's say that I overslept and I couldn't get up to do the fasting. But maybe if I wake up around 5, maybe I don't want to, maybe can I fight for that? Maybe taking a day.
Yes, of course. Nothing prevents you. When you oversleep and you're not able to take sahur, it's recommended to take the dawn meal, but missing it doesn't vitiate or nullify your fast. You can continue.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for your call. So I want to buy something nice. I'm a young lady for Eid. Fellow ladies will be doing a lot of wonderful things. Then I go and take a loan, or I bill a man who is not, you know, halal for me to ask a mahram and all that. Would you advise our ladies to shun some of those?
As much as possible. I mean, contentment is part of Iman. It's part of, Islam encourages you to be content. Appreciate what you have. It is encouraged that
but
on
if you put on this abaya last year and you put it on today, so Hajia repeats. Even on
they will say, but then can you afford to get yourself a new one? If you can afford to get yourself a new one and you are denying yourself, then you are not being appreciative of the favors of Allah. If you can afford, you have the money, or your parents have the money to get you.
Sorry, can I cut you? Hello, assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Your name and where you calling from, my lady?
Serena.
Serena, from where?
Central Region.
Okay, welcome, Serena.
Let's talk about the dating stuff on campus.
Dating issues on campus. Okay, go ahead.
Well, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
If like a boy or girl dating with Ramadan, like if a time that you break your fast in the evening, in campus, it meant that other Muslims, like after breaking their fast, they go to their boyfriend's place and have all that it takes, like caressing each other and stuff.
Which campus is this?
It says,
Which campus? Which campus does this happen on?
I'm at GCC.
University of Constant Confusion. I'm not surprised at all. University of Cape Coast.
Some of the Muslim girls, after breaking their fast, they go to their boyfriend's place, and what they say, they break their fast so they can do that.
Okay, thank you for the question. And Ajay, I hope you didn't attend UCC. Apologies to those who are schooling and have schooled in UCC. Normally we say University of Constant Confusion, but it's University of Cape Coast. Yeah, but this is quite a serious
question
issue.
that I think, in fact, I'm not surprised, because I used to go around for dawah a lot and to interact with Muslim ladies, and we hear stories like this. But then, like I was mentioning earlier, do you know what will happen to you the next minute? That is the point. So as much as if the mercy of Allah, all the favors that Allah has given you, you have the leg to walk, you have the eyes to see, you have all these favors at your disposal, free from Allah, and all you can just do with all that Allah has given you is to do something to incur the wrath of Allah.
Okay, hello, assalamu alaikum, Hajja, sorry. Your name? Lower the volume on your set. Hello? Sorry, we lost you. No,
this is a very serious question, and I believe as Muslim sisters, Ramadan should be a turning point, and it shouldn't just be like that.
Do you know the problem? Marriage has become so complicated. At the university level, when people are in love, there is no way they can even communicate that they want to settle down. Parents who take you to school. Okay, let me take this caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Mohammed.
Calling from where?
Mohammed, calling from Tamale.
From Tamale. Welcome, Mohammed.
On the issue of Muslim Facebook countries.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mohammed.
The business
Mohammed, you will have to call again, so kindly drop your line and then maybe we'll make you our last caller. Your line is bad, so drop the call and call again. I'm sure we'll make you our last caller. Aja, yes, I'm not sitting here. I should be doing the questioning. But if people are in love and they are in level 200, I don't see why parents should say no
to their marriage.
Yeah,
you see, that is the point. And the other part of the issue is that the problem is that even sometimes those who are going to get, those who have gone home for knocking and everything, we have some of the parents who tell you, when you go to ask them for something, they tell the girls to go and ask their fiancé, which is very bad. And we hear this, it happens in our society. So as much as possible, there's something fundamentally wrong with the community. There should be proper orientation. On the pulpit, when the imams mount there, they should have a better communication for the, astaghfirullah, sorry for saying a better these are problems and it won't do any good to our community. So we would recommend that on the pulpit, when the men and the women gather over there, they should let them understand that not until you hand over your child to the person, or not until the knot is tied, the bride price has been paid and everything, the man is not responsible for the woman. So she won't come to you to ask you for money for this and you tell her to go and ask her fiancé. And in fact, I know a lady who has been in a relationship with a guy for over 6 years.
What are
they have gone for
for
the knocking.
What are they waiting for?
In fact, they have gone for the knocking, but they haven't met to say they are tying the knot. They haven't started leave preparation, but families were aware of their relationship. The guy was outside everything. The guy came back and the lady jokingly told the guy that, oh, it's Eid, and which dress are you buying for me for Eid? That was it. The relationship ended over there. As to whether there was I don't know what to even say, whether they loved each other, maybe they weren't meant to be. But the lady said this was what ensued between them. This was the last conversation between them. And she jokingly told the guy that, oh, what are you buying for me for it? And that was it.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Your name, are you Mohammed? I wish you are Mohammed from Tamale.
No, I'm Abdul.
Abdulaziz from where?
From Goma East.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We are listening to
I
you.
called to congratulate you for giving us such a program. And then I like to
Amin Suma Amin. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. May Allah give us ikhlas. Thank you. Okay. Angia, we are about to wrap up.
Yeah.
And there is another question I want to ask you. You mentioned towering figures in the history of humanity, women who were supportive, who clung to their faith. You are a married woman. Are you, the current crop of married people, are you supportive enough to your husbands? And okay, let me take this last caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, walaikum salam.
You are our last caller, brother. Good evening.
Yes. Yeah, I'm Mohammed Amin calling from Wa.
Okay, welcome, Mohammed Amin.
Yeah, thank you. My contribution has to do with relationships in our Muslim communities. I think when it comes to marriage, our scholars, because you are not doing enough, because marriage has become so expensive that an ordinary Muslim cannot marry you.
That's true.
That,
I agree with you perfectly.
Yeah, so when nikah is expensive, dinner becomes very cheap. And vice versa.
That's
so
true.
that is a problem in our Muslim community.
That's
and
true.
I think you the scholars, you have to put out.
That's true. That's true. It's very true. We appreciate it. We do appreciate what Alex said. I don't know. If I ask my question and you lump it up with this, we will need another hour. So I will just not go there. So maybe your closing remarks.
Yeah.
No, but let me ask my question. It's important. You see, we are told that during the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anytime the companions would bid farewell to their wives to say that they were going to the marketplace to work and bring daily bread to the house, they would tell them one thing, that go and look for money, but don't come with dirty money. إِنَّا نَسْتَطِيعُ أَن نَصْبِرَ عَلَى الْجُوعِ وَلَكِنْ لَا نَسْتَطِيعُ أَن نَصْبِرَ عَلَى عَذَابِ اللَّهِ. We can bear the pangs, we will be patient enough to bear the pangs of hunger than being burnt in hellfire on the day of judgment.
Yeah.
But Hajia, you keep pressuring us. You live in a single room, you are pressuring your husband to get a chamber and hall. He doesn't have the money. You live in a one-bedroom apartment, you want him to get a three-bedroom apartment. It's just pressure upon pressure, making our source of income haram. I don't know what advice you'll give him close into women. If it is one bag of rice your husband can afford a whole month or 2 months, be content with it.
Subhanallah. Yeah, so as our brother Irbad rightly said, contentment is very important. And as much as possible, if you get married to someone, your goal and your prayer should be that your marriage should not end in this world, but should proceed in the hereafter. You see, so as much as, and if your marriage will proceed in the hereafter, is it proceeding in hell or in heaven? That is what you should, in Jannah or in Jahannam. That is what we should think about. If you want your marriage to proceed in Jannah, then you should work towards gaining the Jannah. If your husband, if you put a lot of pressure on your husband, I mean, human needs are insatiable. For that we understand. But the point is that you have to be, you have to, I mean, be content with what you have, whatever you need. If you want this, you want that, pray to Allah. Allah will open, and pray that Allah increases him in beneficial sustenance. But don't push him to the wall. And in fact, be very, as he rightly mentioned, that the women of old, the beautiful women during the time of the Prophet, this was what they were telling their husband when their husband is about to leave the house. I mean, it's not encouraged in Islam to gain money from riba, to steal, add zeros, remove zeros to be able to make money. It won't, this monies will not do you any good. Tomorrow I mean, even in this world, you suffer from that money. Okay. You earn the money, but other things will come up. There are people who have money now, they don't have peace of mind. Sickness here and there, they can't even buy what, I mean, they need from getting the money. And my closing remark, very important to my Muslim ladies, they used to tell us that in the month of Ramadan, we plead with you, do not stay, don't spend all your time in the kitchen. And even if you spend your time in the kitchen, we are very good at multitasking. So let's do a lot of multitasking. Do your askar while in the kitchen, you can listen to Quran recitation, listen to lectures while in the kitchen, and do your cooking for the sake of Allah. And if your menses comes up to it, it's only the salat that you may be missing. But if you are missing the salat too, I mean, reading listening to lectures, and you can also decide to go for Taraweeh and, I mean, help women who come for Taraweeh with their children by babysitting their children, keeping the children company such that their parents can concentrate during Salah. So please don't let your menstruation end your your maximizing of blessing during the month of Ramadan. May Allah forgive us all and make us better. Thank you so much.
We've had in the studio Kabirat Ahmed Salis, an author and an educationist. So we come your way tomorrow, inshallah, with another edition of Ramadan Caravan. Stay blessed. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalam.
Ramadan.